For thousands of years, a strange planet floated in the far corner of the galaxy. Its name was Zorath. No one lived there. No cities, no life. Only one thing brought people to that dead world. The sword of Vaelor. It stood in the center of an ancient temple, stuck deep inside a glowing black stone. The stone pulsed with a quiet light, like a sleeping heart. Around it, carvings covered the walls in a language older than time. Aliens from across the stars came to try their luck. Giant beasts from the Zuron Empire, warriors from the cold moons of Valera, and even mind-powered beings from the Sky Mind Collective. All of them had one goal: lift the sword. They tried with strength. They tried with technology. Some even tried with dark magic. Nothing worked. The sword never moved. Many believed it was cursed. Others thought it was fake. But the legends were clear. The one who lifted the sword would become the chosen warrior, a protector of balance in the galaxy. A lost power would return through them. Years passed, then centuries. The temple became a place of silent fear. No one went near it anymore, until one day, something unexpected happened. A small human ship, damaged and burning, crashed near the temple. It fell from the sky like a falling star, lighting up the purple clouds of Zorath. Inside was one man. Captain Raylan Ward. He was not a warrior, not a prince. Just an explorer from Earth who had taken a wrong jump through a wormhole. When his ship hit the ground, everything went black. Raylan woke up slowly. His head hurt. Smoke filled the air around him. The trees here were strange, tall and twisted, glowing slightly in the dark. The sky was red. The ground, gray and silent. His ship was broken. No signal. No way to call for help. Raylan grabbed his bag, a flashlight, and started walking. His compass spun wildly. "Where the hell am I?" he whispered. Hours passed. Then he saw it. A tall black tower stood in the distance. A strange light came from it, calm but strong. Something about it called to him. It wasn't just curiosity. It felt like a voice. Inside his head, he moved closer. Far above the planet, in a hidden ship, a group of alien priests were watching. Their eyes, wide and glowing, stared at the screen. "He's human," one of them said. "A human on Zorath?" said another. "This cannot happen. Stop him." "It's too late," the elder priest said. "He has entered the temple's range. The sword has already awakened." Raylan didn't know any of this. He reached the ancient steps of the temple and stopped. The building was massive, black stone. Carvings of stars, battles, and swords. He stepped inside. The air was cold and heavy, but not dead. It was alive, buzzing with something old and powerful. Then he saw it. The sword of Vaelor, standing tall in the middle of the stone floor, stuck deep in a strange black rock. It looked like it was waiting. Raylan laughed softly. "What is this? Some kind of galactic Excalibur?" He walked up slowly. The sword was beautiful, long, sharp. Its metal was unlike anything he had seen, silver with a hint of blue. The handle had symbols carved into it. Strangely, he could almost read them. Chosen ... Warrior ... He whispered. He looked around. No one was there. Just him. And a sword. His hand reached out. In the skies, alarm screamed in the alien ship. No, he must not touch it. The balance will break. The elder priest's eyes glowed white. It has already begun. Back on the planet, Raylan's fingers touched the sword. At first, nothing happened. Then ... the ground shook. The black stone began to glow, brighter blue light running through its cracks like lightning. A deep hum filled the air, like the sound of a giant engine waking up. Raylan jumped back, heart racing. What the hell? The sword shook slightly in place. It had never moved before. far away, across the stars, ancient machines powered on. Hidden temples lit up. Forgotten warnings activated. The sword had been touched by a human dot, and now the galaxy would never be the same again. Asterisk, the stars above Zorth were silent. But something old, something hidden, had opened its eyes. The sword of Valor had moved. Not much, just a tremble. But that small movement had sent a signal across time and space. A human had touched it. And that changed everything that far away. In the crystal towers of a moon called Aura's V, an old alien king dropped his golden cup. "It's not possible," he whispered. "The sword has responded?" On the shadow planet Nether, deep inside a cave of ice, a sleeping beast opened its red eyes and growled. The sound echoed across mountains. And in the center of a dying star, a machine built by forgotten hands began to glow. Its only message: the human has arrived. Back on Zorth, Captain Raylan stood frozen in front of the sword. His heart was racing. The temple around him was silent but alive. He looked at the glowing cracks in the stone. Blue light pulsed, slowly like a heartbeat. Was that me? He asked aloud, unsure if he was dreaming. Then came the sound. Not a voice, not words of feeling. Like something ancient had noticed him. And it wasn't angry. It was waiting. Raylan stepped back. He didn't want to touch the sword again. But he couldn't look away either. It felt like the sword was looking through him, not at him. Then he heard it. This time, a real voice. A whisper. You do not belong here, but you were expected. Raylan turned quickly. No one was there. Who said that? Silence. Then the air shifted. A doorway appeared on the side of the temple wall, made of light. It hadn't been there before. Beyond it, he could see stars not from this planet. A portal? He had two choices. Stay in the temple, or walk into the unknown. He took a breath and stepped through. The moment he crossed, the world changed. Raylan was standing on a floating island in the sky. Below him, nothing but clouds. The sky above was a deep gold, with no sun and no moon. Time didn't seem to move here. Where am I? He whispered. A voice replied, louder now, but calm. You are inside the sword. What? This is the memory core, the test chamber, the soul of Valor. Raylan turned and saw a figure tall, made of light and shadow. Not male, not female. Not even fully there, just an echo. You touched the sword. Now you must prove yourself. I didn't mean to. Intent does not matter. Only truth. Raylan's mind raced. A test? What kind of test? Suddenly the floating island cracked. A storm rose. Lightning flashed. Shadows with red eyes appeared from the mist. Face your fear, the voice said. Only then may you hold the sword. Back in the real world, outside the temple, the alien priests had landed. A circle of them surrounded the temple with weapons. And old Chance, he's inside, said one. The trial has begun. Can we stop it? Asked another. The elder priest shook his head. If we touch the sword now, we die. Only he can decide the outcome. They waited, watching, praying he would fail. Inside the trial realm, Raylan was running. The shadows chased him, beasts made of smoke and fire, with voices like his own fears. You're not a hero. You're just lost. You don't belong. He fell. A shadow reached out, but Raylan stood up. I'm not here to win, he shouted. I'm here to survive. He grabbed a glowing stone from the ground and swung it wildly. The shadow broke into dust. The storm calmed. The voice returned. Fear has been faced. 2 trials remain. The golden sky brightened. A path appeared. In the clouds ahead, Raylan didn't understand what was happening, but he knew this. The sword was testing him. And he had passed the first step. Back in the temple, the sword glowed brighter. It lifted slightly, just an inch. The priests gasped. "It has begun," the elder whispered. "The sword is choosing." The floating path shimmered under Raylan's boots. He had no idea how long he had been walking. Time didn't exist here, not the way it did on Earth. The golden sky had no sun, yet it glowed. The clouds below were endless, like oceans of silence. And ahead of him, only fog. He had passed the first trial. He had faced his fear. But something told him the worst was still waiting. Then the fog began to move. Shapes formed. People. Not aliens, humans. Raylan froze. He saw a boy 10 years old standing alone. The boy looked just like him, same face, same eyes, but this boy looked scared and angry. "Why? Did you leave me?" the boy asked. Raylan stepped forward, heart pounding. "I didn't. I don't know who." "Liar," the boy said. "You forgot everything. You forgot who you were." The golden sky darkened. Raylan shook his head. "This isn't real." The boy looked up. His voice echoed like thunder. "This is the second trial, memory." Raylan's mind was pulled into the fog. He saw flashes, a woman's voice crying, a burning Earth city under attack, soldiers screaming, a memory he didn't know he had, holding a sword made of light, and then silence. Raylan dropped to his knees. "I don't remember this. This can't be mine." But the fog whispered around him. "You are not just a human. You are a fragment of something older. You were chosen once, and you were lost." Suddenly, a door appeared in front of him. It wasn't glowing. It wasn't magical. It was made of old wood. Raylan opened it. He was back in the temple. The real world, except. The sword was in his hand. Outside the temple, the alien priests fell to the ground as light blasted. From the temple entrance, the sword had awakened. Not floated, not trembled, lifted. And it had chosen. Raylan stood in the center of the room, eyes wide, sword glowing with energy. The blade felt warm, not heavy, like it wanted to be held. Symbols lit up along the stone walls, and a voice, clear this time, from the sword itself, spoke. "Raylan, ward of Earth, you have passed 2 trials. The final path lies ahead. Will you protect, or will you conquer?" Raylan's grip tightened. Protect. The sword flashed once, then cooled. But far away. Danger was already rising. In the throne hall of the Velthrak Dominion. The Lords of War watched the light appear in the sky. "It has been lifted," said the Supreme Warlord, "by a human." He turned to his captains. "Then we go to Earth. We finish what we started. Before the sword-bearer learns what it really means." Back in the temple, Raylan heard a new sound, his ship's radio crackling to life for the first time. "Captain Raylan, do you copy? This is Earth Command. Where are you?" He raised the sword. And for the first time in galactic history, it responded to a human's voice. Asterisk, the sword whispered, not in words. In memories, Raylan stood in the middle of the ancient temple, his hand still wrapped around the glowing sword. The air was shaking softly, like the world was breathing. Outside, the alien sky had turned dark red. Something had changed. But Raylan didn't feel like a hero. He felt like a man standing at the edge of something too big to understand. And then, the sword pulled him again. He blinked, and the temple was gone. Now he stood on a cracked stone bridge over a black ocean. The air smelled like ash. Floating towers circled the sky, rising and falling like forgotten dreams. "This is not a place," said the voice from the sword. "This is the trial world, built from the minds of those who tried to claim the blade." Raylan looked around. "So this is all inside me?" "Partly. This world is shaped by your truth and your lies. Then the bridge began to fall apart behind him. No going back. Only forward. As he walked, ghostly shapes began to appear beside him, aliens, machines, even humans. All of them had held the sword before him. All of them had failed. Some had turned evil. Some had lost themselves. Others had begged for the sword to let them go, and all of them were now dust in the trial world. You are the first to come this far, the voice said, but that does not mean you are ready. Raylan came to a crossroads. In front of him stood three paths. One burned with fire, one froze with ice, and one was calm. A child sat at the center of the third path. A small alien girl, no older than 8, with silver skin and wide, afraid eyes. Raylan moved toward the calm path, but the sword grew cold in his hand. This is the third trial, the voice said, not of fear, not of memory, but of choice. From the fire path, a beast charged out, tall, armored, eyes full of rage. It roared and raised a massive blade. Raylan stepped forward, sword ready, but the girl screamed, no. Raylan froze. If he fought the beast, the girl might be hurt. If he protected the girl, the beast might kill him. He had seconds. His heart raced. Then he made his choice. He dropped the sword. Turned. And shielded the girl with his own body. The beast stopped. The fire faded. The ice melted. The world around him fell silent, and the girl looked up with bright, golden eyes. You passed, she said. She touched his chest with her small hand. You chose life, not victory, not power, mercy. Suddenly, the bridge crumbled completely. Raylan fell, but he did not land on stone or cloud. He landed back in the real world. The temple. The sword was still in his hand, but something was different. He could feel it now, not just power. Purpose. Outside the temple, the sky above Zorath cracked open. Alien warships appeared, giant, dark, and waiting. Velthrak Dominion had arrived. They had seen the sword light up, and they had come to destroy its new bearer. Raylan looked at the ships through the cracks in the temple wall. He tightened his grip. His voice was calm. I'm not running. They came like shadows swallowing the stars. The sky above Zorath cracked open, and the Velthrak Dominion poured through an armada of warships, dark as night and shaped like jagged knives. These were no ordinary patrol ships. They were built for one purpose only: eradication. Raylan stood inside the ancient temple, still holding the sword that now felt like part of him. The air around him buzzed. The floor beneath his feet shook. Outside, thousands of lives moved into position: soldiers, machines, mercenaries, all waiting for the order. The human has the sword, a Velthrak commander said. End him before he learns how to use it. Raylan didn't move. His fingers tightened around the blade. His heart should have been racing, but it wasn't. The sword was calming him, breathing with him. It spoke not in words, but in instinct. He knew something now. They weren't just afraid of the sword. They were afraid of what the sword would unlock inside him. Suddenly, the temple's walls lit up. Not from the outside. From deep within. Lines of ancient energy moved like veins, spreading through the stone. The symbols on the walls rearranged themselves into a star map. Raylan stared. The stars were not random. One was Earth. Another was crossed out. He reached out and touched the map. A vision struck him like a thunderstorm. Flashes, earth and flames. A child screaming. A man holding this very sword. But it wasn't him. It was another human. Long ago, and behind that man, a Velthrak king kneeling. Raylan stepped back, breathing hard. The sword wasn't new. It had been lifted before. And its last bearer had defeated the Velthrak once. Raylan whispered, "This isn't a weapon." He looked down at the sword. It shimmered. It's a message. Meanwhile, in orbit, Chaos was brewing. Not all alien. Ships were Velthrak, several independent ships, a pirate crew, a science vessel, even a few neutral traders began sending warnings to their leaders. The human lifted the sword. He passed the trials. The sword chose him. Some believed it was prophecy. Others saw it as a threat, but one small group of rebels saw something else. Hope. In a hidden chamber of the Resistance Council across the galaxy, a message played on loop. He is alive. The sword glows again. The human has returned. A woman in armor turned to her generals. Send a fleet, she said. Protect him, before the Dominion kills him, or worse, takes the sword for themselves. Back on Zorath, the first wave of Velthrak drones entered the temple. Raylan raised the sword not to strike, but to block. A wall of pure energy burst out from the blade, sending the machines flying back. Raylan stumbled from the force. The sword vibrated. You are not ready for war, the voice said. But war is ready for you. Then the ground cracked. The entire temple shifted. Gears thousands of years old turned. The floor opened beneath Raylan. He fell. Darkness swallowed him. He woke up in a vast underground chamber. But it wasn't empty. Machines. Weapons. And something else. Armor. Human armor. Old. Rusted. Marked with Earth's lost flags. Raylan touched one piece and it reformed instantly, wrapping around his body like it had been waiting just for him. His visor powered on. A message played. To the next sword-bearer. If you hear this, Earth is not safe. But neither is silence. Raylan stood, armored, the sword in his hand. He was not a visitor anymore. He was part of something ancient. And the galaxy had just declared war on a human with a memory too powerful to erase. Asterisk. In the silence beneath the temple, truth waited. Raylan stood still. The armor had formed around him, piece by piece, like it remembered his shape. The sword pulsed gently in his hand, not with power but with memory. On the far wall of the underground chamber, a light blinked. A small console powered on, speaking in a forgotten language. But somehow, Raylan understood every word. Welcome back, Sentinel. He stepped forward. The console scanned him. Identity match. Human. Bloodline confirmed. Access granted. The stone wall began to split. Behind it, a vault. Inside, a throne. Empty. And carvings on the walls, hundreds of them. Not in alien symbols. Not in code. But in English. Raylan read the first line slowly. We came from Earth, but we were not the first. We were the ones who left and forgot. His hands trembled. His mind spun. These weren't alien ruins. This was human. A hologram lit up in front of him, a woman in silver armor, her face calm, eyes tired. If you're seeing this, she said, then the sword has returned to a human hand. You are not the first to lift it. You are the first to remember. Long ago, we ruled the stars, not with fear, but with fire and wisdom. We built peace. We built weapons. We built silence. And then we vanished. The image flickered. We hid ourselves from the galaxy. And from our own bloodline, we chose to forget, to stop what we had become. You, Raylan Ward, are part of the last echo. Raylan stepped back. This isn't just about me. The sword glowed brighter. No, it's about what comes next, the voice said. Suddenly, other consoles came alive around him. Maps, war records, star routes. They told the whole story. Thousands of years ago, humans had ruled vast parts of the galaxy. They built the sword to guide their chosen protectors, sentinels. But a war with the Velthrak had turned dark. Earth's leaders had sealed away the sword and erased their place in history. Raylan wasn't the first hero. He was a reminder. Up above, the battle had begun. Velthrak warships circled the temple. Ground troops closed in, but then new signals appeared on scanners. Ships, fast, hidden. The resistance had arrived. In the shadows of the stars, small fighter crews dove toward the planet. They weren't the strongest, but they came with fire in their hearts and hope in their eyes. Protect the human. Their commander shouted. He's more than a man now. He's memory. Back underground, the sword buzzed loudly in Raylan's hand. Time to rise, it said. He moved to the final wall of the vault. One last panel opened. Inside was a message carved by hand. No lights, no machines. Just 5 simple words. You are not the end. Raylan turned toward the surface. He was not afraid now. He was a story, walking, and the galaxy was about to remember what it forgot. The stars were on fire. Above Zorath, the sky was torn open by war. Velthrak warships launched volleys of plasma across the atmosphere. Resistance fighters danced between blasts, returning fire with everything they had. Below it all, deep in the planet's bones, Raylan Ward stepped out of the vault, armored, glowing, silent. He walked through the burning temple ruins as if time slowed around him. Each step awakened something ancient in the stone. Each breath echoed the heartbeat of the sword. A resistance ship broke through the clouds and landed fast. A young pilot ran down the ramp. Raylan, get in. We're taking you to Earth. They're coming. Raylan looked up. The sword whispered. One last question. Will you protect, or will you conquer? He didn't answer with words. He walked past the pilot and onto the ship. Earth. 24 hours later, the sky over Earth's capital turned red. Velthrak fleets had arrived. Cities across the planet were preparing for evacuation. World leaders screamed into radios. Resistance teams scrambled, but every camera, every eye, turned to one thing: a single human ship breaking the atmosphere, and standing on top of it, a man in silver armor, holding a sword made of memory and light. Raylan. He spoke only once. No microphone, no broadcast. Just a voice, amplified by the sword itself. This is our world. We remember now. We will not kneel. The sword blazed, and the stars answered. Not just resistance ships, but ancient satellites, hidden defense towers, and sleeping orbital weapons Raylan didn't know existed, all powered on. All human. All waiting. The sword had been their key. Final battle began. Above the blue oceans, among ruined space stations, humanity rose for the first time in centuries, fully awake. Raylan led from the front, not just as a warrior, but as a symbol. He cut through Velthrak ships like wind through paper, not because he was strong, because he had chosen mercy, because he had faced memory, because he had stood for life, not power. The sword responded to that. And in the moment it mattered most, it burned brighter than a star. In the heart of the Velthrak flagship, Raylan stood before their supreme warlord. The alien laughed. You think you've won? Kill me, and you become just like us. Raylan raised the sword. Paused. And turned it off. The blade dimmed. He dropped it. No, he said. I remember who we were, and I choose who will be. The war ended. Not with blood, but with memory. 1 week later, the galaxy watched in silence as Raylan disappeared. No one knew where he went. Some say he returned to the stars. Some say he became part of the sword. The resistance built no statue. No crown. Only a message, carved in stone. No alien could lift the sword until the human remembered why it was made.